Red light. It's the next chapter in my best-selling novel, From My Request, and I don't know why, but I'm going to read it for you. He was a big bear-looking man. No, not a koala bear. I was leaning more towards Grizzly. The look on his face was menacing. He was as round as he was tall. His forearms were like Dick Butkus, and suddenly I felt sick to my stomach. He stood at least a half-foot taller than I, and weighed a good 300 pounds. Damn, I wondered if I could talk him into going to Dolphins training camp. The gun in his massive pale white hand looked like a child's toy as he gripped it tightly. With a throaty growl in his voice, the bear ordered me to walk out nice and slow. Those black eyes pierced right through me. I could feel the shivers crawl up my spine as I caught sight of his gun. Make no mistake, I'm not a pansy. But this guy was huge. So I moved when he said move, as quickly as I could. The plaid shirt he wore was 2 sizes too small, too short for those linebacker arms, and too tight for his beer bulging middle. I imagined that 2 bed sheets sewn together would suffice perfectly. Down, sit, he commanded, in the direction of the chair. He aimed the gun at my head. With the exception of the gun, he was being too polite to kill me. I would find out soon enough, so with that in mind, I sat. Do you have what I come for? His accent was Russian. Sort of. If you need a drink, you miss the bar by 16 steps. I said with my arms folded across my chest. The last thought, before I felt the butt of the gun across my head, was up my smart-ass mouth and how it gets me into trouble sometimes. I'm not sure if my head was tough, or he held back a little. I thought he didn't want to ruin that little gun. To my amazement, I remained conscious. Damn, I shouted. It was a joke. Ha, he said with no emotion. They told me, you funny man. You obviously don't think so. I rubbed my head and tried to keep my brain from falling out. It was starting to throb and ooze from my ear. You have it, yes? I have no idea what you mean, I replied. I did, but I wasn't going to tell him that. The blood from the gash had started to run down the side of my face. He gave me a grin as I checked the newly formed blood on my hand. That could have been the reason I couldn't think straight. He grabbed the chair beside him and spun it around. He sat with the back of the chair facing me. I was starting to see 3 of them. If I got the opportunity, I guess I'd just shoot the middle one. I'm not here to take you money, Mr. Grizzly said. What was wrong with that speech pattern? He was big and menacing, but I could count his IQ on all my digits without using my toes. If I could solve him, I thought, maybe I'd have a chance. Sherry would be here soon, and I didn't want to look at my watch and startle him. I was still trying to develop myself as a people person. Who knew? So what brings you to my neck of the woods, I asked. You! The gun was still pointed in my direction. You don't want money, so what do you want? Money, no, he replied. How about a nice cognac, I suggested. Me no drink and work. I bet if I'd offered vodka, the answer would have been different. His fists were the size of Foster's beer cans. I bet I could do some damage to those fists with my face. If you're going to kill me, just get it over with. I really didn't mean that. Me not here to kill you. We wait for Mr. Barov. Who's Mr. Barov, I asked. The man who wants the watch. Do you have? What watch? I have no watches here. I knew it was a mistake as soon as I said it. He saw the 15 cases of watches that surrounded us. I still had that dumbass look on my face. It was about at that moment he jumped out of the chair, too swiftly for a man as big as he was. I saw 3 of his hands raised. My blurred vision was trying to figure out which one was real. That black object in his hand came quickly and confidently toward me. Smack! Was the sound that erupted when the connection was made. I felt consciousness slipping away. His frame of 3 was now 30. The gun butt was stuck in the base of his hand. It now looked like a walnut tree. I felt my head hit the hardwood floor. I don't remember a thing after that. The darkness surrounded me like water surrounds a diver.